Hello, Trump Take 5 here. If you're wondering what Donald Trump was up to yesterday, then good news, you're in the right place. Here at Trump Take 5, we try to break down everything important that the president did in a 5-minute video, so you don't have to stay immersed in the 24-hour news cycle that is associated with this administration. Fairly quiet day for the president yesterday after the holiday, although he did wake up and take to Twitter. First thing in the morning, he took a moment to complain about the NFL and the commissioner of the NFL in particular having lost control of the hemorrhaging league, saying that players were the boss. This was, again, about someone kneeling during a football game, which doesn't really need to be explained or even justified with conversation anymore at this point. The president also mentioned that he will talk to President Erdogan of Turkey about bringing peace to the mess that he inherited in the Middle East. He assured Americans saying he will get it all done, but what a mistake in lives and dollars to be there in the first place. After assuring America that he would take care of the Middle East problem, he mentioned that he would be going to the Trump National Golf Club in Jupiter to play golf quickly with Tiger Woods and Dustin Johnson, then back to Mar-a-Lago for talks on bringing even more jobs and companies back to the USA. The part of this tweet that stood out to me was the bringing even more jobs and companies back to the USA part. He doesn't make mention of any specific companies or jobs, so it sounds sort of like an empty thing that he might just say rather than something that was actually happening. Don't forget, the Republicans are pushing through their tax reform plan, and pretty much all of the accounts that I've read about it say that it will actually incentivize corporations to sending more jobs overseas because they'll get a tax break rather than a penalty when they do so. I guess perhaps after the golf game was concluded, he took back to Twitter talking about the terror attack in Egypt. The first tweet was pretty normal, pretty standard reply to the awful event that happened. In the second one, though, he mentions, "Need the wall, need the ban, God bless the people of Egypt." This statement really doesn't tie into what happened in Egypt whatsoever. But I guess trying to explain that with logic would be fool's errand. It looks like he just found an opportunity where people might have fear, and he thought he would interject his policy ideas that are reactionary in relation to people's fears, because that all tied together. But really not very presidential or sensible, given the impact of the people in Egypt and how this doesn't relate to them whatsoever. Then the biggest and most talked about tweet of the day for Donald Trump came a few hours after that, and this was when he tweeted out, I'll read the tweet in full here. Time magazine called to say that I was probably going to be named man, person in parentheses, of the year, like last year, but I would have to agree to an interview and a major photo shoot. I said probably is no good and took a pass. Thanks anyways, exclamation point. When I first read this, I thought it was just absurd that he would mention it. Time actually clarified and said that they were not calling to tell him that he had won and that they don't announce who wins until the publication date, which isn't for a little while longer. And then I went away from the computer and I was thinking about it for a little bit. And this is one of the most peculiar tweets, which is saying quite a bit when you think about what the president tweets out on average during any given week. This is peculiar in that he's not just saying that he didn't want to do the interview or do the photos. He's making it sound like he turned down the award. Like they were going to give it to him, probably in all caps, as an indication that he wants you to think that he was going to win again like he did last year. But since they wouldn't give him absolute confirmation, they were basically playing games with him, he decided to turn it down and cut off the process. So he's covering his bases in that someone else wins now. He doesn't win back-to-back or whatever would be important to him. So now he can say that he didn't lose, he turned it down. And that's pretty much his day in a nutshell there, isn't it? So, yes, it was quiet. A lot of the talk revolved around the things that I was talking about yesterday. The Mike Flynn situation, there has been more analysis, but pretty much what I said yesterday still stands. It's looking like he's at least talking to the special counsel about cutting a deal. Mueller probably put on pressure based on Flynn's son being indicted along with him. And there's probably another charge that could be at the state level that wouldn't be able to be pardoned by Trump, which means that Flynn has run out of road, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Of course, if you're wondering why Flynn hasn't been arrested yet, as he probably would have been right after Manafort got it, this, I think, would be related to the fact that the news of the kidnapping conspiracy came out, and therefore the special counsel in his office would likely want to investigate that and add any other additional charges related to that before they arrested him in the first place. So please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Tomorrow we'll see what happens, but we'll also try to do a weekend review of the policy stuff that happened during the week. The things that happen behind the scenes that sort of get drowned out by all of the president's inflammatory tweets towards American citizens and whatnot. So check back tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter or like our Facebook page. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.